we are sheep. Most of us sit around all day. We don't know how to defend ourselves. We are in a flock, and we basically think everything's okay. Except the wolves, the bad guys, whether they be ISIS or terrorists, the most gun-free zone on the planet. It happened during 9/11. It was on a plane. So what did the wolves do? They said, this is great. We'll just kill the sheep with box cutters. The wolves are always plotting. They'll use box cutters. They'll use an airplane and fly it right into a building. They don't need AR-15s.
All right, so Howard nails it, KG.
Yeah,
he points out the wolves are killing the sheep, and who is it who are disarming the sheep?
Yeah.
The left.
Unfortunately, yeah, the left, the liberals, and the president wants to, and the perspective. It's not helpful. Again, like Greg said, and you've said, if they were armed, if someone was armed within that nightclub, number one, he wouldn't have chosen it, and the teen wouldn't have. And number two, that wouldn't have gone on for 4 hours with 49 American lives that counted on their government to keep them safe, dead now.
Refreshing to hear someone like Howard Stern step up and say something like this.
Well, it tells you, because he's kind of a barometer. When it reaches him and he's saying this, you know that the angels are on that side. I mean, if a terrorism attack succeeds in reducing the amount of guns that people have to protect themselves, then the terrorists have, in a sense, won, because they've taken a terrorist act, not only created fear, but reduced our ability to defend ourselves. And I just want to point out, they always talk about how many guns there are in America. Over the last 3 decades, homicides have dropped dramatically. So as gun ownership rises, we're seeing a drop in homicides. However, there is one thing that's going up, and that is terrorist attacks. So the drop in homicides kind of tells us that law-abiding American citizens can actually handle guns. We are not morons. But we do know that we have a threat here, and that if we cannot rely on law enforcement to get there in time, if it takes 3 hours for them to get in there, somebody's got to protect us, and it has to be ourselves. We have the moral obligation. It's common sense to defend ourselves.
Can I give you the exact numbers, Greg?
Yeah.
20 years, 1993 to 2013, the most recent numbers. 185 million firearms in 93, up to 350 million in 2013. That's an 89% increase in firearms. The violent crime rate and the violent crimes have gone down. The rate has gone from 747 per 100,000 down to 368, a 50% drop in violent crimes, which include murder, rape, robbery, and aggravated assault. So you are spot on. Dan, do you want this Howard Stern's comment, or do you want to talk about
if I could just make one comment on that, and then I could do both.
Do it.
I like the analogy that Howard Stern used in terms of being sheep, because it made me think about something that Greg said the other day while we were watching all of this unfold, which is that people don't know how to protect themselves in this kind of a situation. So when we were growing up, we did the drills for possible nuclear war, earthquakes, or tornadoes. Eastern Colorado tornadoes. But in this situation, when I'm in a crowd, I think I would freeze as well. We saw the Marine yesterday in Kimberly's One More Thing, trying to explain to the people, no, you have to move, because I can open the door. And so he risked his life to open the door for them. So I am definitely a sheep, and I am willing to let other people defend me. Do I have a responsibility also, though, to defend myself and others? That's on my mind. But beyond that, which is the FBI and our local police forces, I think are vastly under-resourced. And if you read
or a couple of days after Orlando, a guy who claims to be his allegiance with ISIS, why is the Boston Globe putting an AR-15 on their cover?
Because it's an absolute abomination that we in this
It wasn't used in either attack.
I'm just telling you, it's an abomination that we in this country allowed this to go forward. And let me speak for the sheep.
So it's our fault.
Blah, blah. Let me just tell you what the sheep think, okay? This is unbelievable, but what you have is 57% of the sheep, the American people, say we should have an assault weapons ban, which was allowed to lapse in 2004 by the Republicans, by the Republican Congress. And guess what? 90% of the sheep say, we should have strict background checks in the country, including sheep who are gun owners.
That's not
Guess what?
I'm not even disputing that.
No, that's what I'm saying. We don't.
This
do
is about
anything.
terror.
No, this is about the fact that we do nothing to deal with the contagion of guns in this society. And let me tell you one more thing. You look at the death rates by guns in other developed Western nations. The United States is way
because those stats are
and
wrong.
They're not wrong.
Yes,
and let me
they
tell
are.
you what's wrong. It's the mindset that says anybody who says this is wrong is somehow crazy. In fact, this is a debate that's being distorted by the NRA, who puts money in the pockets of our politicians so they don't listen to the sheep Instead, they listen to the gun makers.
An assault weapon wasn't used. You do realize that. And an AR-15 wasn't used. So
I'm
you're
telling
talking
you,
about something
we-
completely
no,
different.
no. Let me just say something.
Yeah,
I didn't say
exactly.
anything, but you know what? There was a guy in the nightclub with a gun. Did it stop him, Kimberly? No. So you know what? This kind of weapon is the kind of weapon that has no business.
Can I just tell you about this weapon? This weapon is banned in some states because it doesn't have a high enough caliber bullet. If they feel it's not strong enough and it's inhumane to the animals that you use to shoot it. It's not an assault weapon. Stop
Why
it.
would you use that to hunt animals?
The last.
It's
a rifle, you fucking.
In a costume.
Yeah.
It's a rifle in a
It's a
costume.
military weapon.
Here's the thing. I would say.
Oh my
I think
God.
that I don't know how many other people in America are like me, but I might be persuadable on some of these issues if the left could show me that there is evidence that what they're talking about could actually work. But every time I look into this issue, I'm like, the facts and the logic don't add up. And the assault weapons ban that lasted for 10 years, the government study said it didn't have an effect. So I don't understand. I understand the emotional desire to get rid of them, but if it doesn't actually bear out in facts and logic, how can I be persuaded?
I don't get it. The facts are that if you live in other countries where they don't allow this plethora of guns everywhere, the homicide rates by guns are far lower.
Hold on,
Whenever
Ron.
they
Shut the
introduce a
fuck up,
ban
man.
on
Hold
guns
the
in
fuck
countries.
up. While they're arguing on Fox News, I'm gonna show you something. When you look up an AR-15, I'm on my computer. When you look up an AR-15, you go under handgun, rifle, shotgun, 3-gun, cowboy action, muzzle loader,
We need Andy.
okay, AK-47 rifle, gun models. So let's go under fucking rifles. Rifles, not assault weapons. Rifles. What is under rifles? You got your normal ass rifles, which is coming out shitty. That's why I hate this fucking computer. This dude just pissed me the fuck off. And then your rifle.
I had AML.
Not assault machine gun. Rifle.
4 rounds of chemo.
It's a pistol. But it's a machine gun. It's a pistol.
And you can die from that.
It's a rifle.
5 children diagnosed with cancer will not survive.
Cancer was the last thing on our mind.
It's a rifle.
Horrific.
Look at that. You see that body?
Be in.
You can join the fight to save lives by supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
It's a rifle.
If you have to face something like this,
It's a
these are the
rifle.
people that you want to
In
be
a
by
different
your side.
skin. It's a rifle
Strength.
in a different
love.
skin.
That's what gets you.
They're rifles. They're not assault weapons, you stupid motherfucker. So next time you need a fucking goddamn pronunciation, motherfucker, when the fuck did assault weapons start going to fucking $800, you stupid motherfucker? Juan Williams, you should be off of fucking TV, you piece of shit. It's a fucking rifle.
Please call now.
$727. It's a fucking rifle.
$15 a month.
You're not allowed to sell assault weapons on the fucking internet.
To be here today,
More or less even purchase them.
I thought
They're
that I would be
rifles, Juan.
holding my baby's
Rifles.
hand while she died.
St. Jude